Oh, I see. Just hold on. In that case, let me call out my PIN. It is 41.
Uncle, please stop.
Stop what?
You're giving someone else your personal identification number PIN?
Not someone else. It's from my bank.
Please hang up, Uncle. That's a fraudster.
That's not true. But they call out my full name. I am sure this is from my bank.
Uncle, no bank is ever going to call you to ask for your personal identification number PIN, your mobile banking password, or your card verification code, CVC.
But it sounded so genuine.
Yes, hackers and fraudsters always sound genuine. But please, Uncle, don't fall for their bait. Don't respond to any phony emails, text message, SMS, and don't click on any link you're not sure of.
Even if they call your date of birth or your BVN, don't give them your security details.
If you suspect any issue with your account, please go to your bank.
Oh, I see.
This message is from the Central Bank of Nigeria.
A visit to a typical Nigerian market reveals that the prices of food items have skyrocketed by as much as 100% in the last 1 year, consequently making life unbearable and difficult for Nigerian citizens. When the prices of food items and other goods and services increase over a period of time, it affects the entire economy. The cost of living is affected. It impacts also on the cost of doing business and other areas of the economy. I love a quote by Virginia Woolf, which says, "One cannot think well, love well, sleep well, if one has not dined well." What is responsible for these skyrocketing prices of goods and services? Who is to blame? Is it possible to come out of this situation? Is there a way out? Welcome to NOA River State Dialogue. I am Mrs. Esanjumi Richard Halliday, an Assistant Director, National Orientation Agency, River State. I'm your anchor on this program. And I'm here with, to my right, Chief GODPOWER OMUNAKWE, WOBO. He's the Chairman, RUMUOWOJI, Mile One Market Traders Association, Mile One Duo. You're welcome, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you here on this program.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, I have also to my left Mr. ABEKE, NIKIOMARI. I hope I got that right. He's an Assistant Chief Legal Officer of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good to have you here. And our topic of discussion this morning is on the rising costs of goods and services, causes, effects, and solutions. We would love to know the pulse of the people out there on this issue. So join in this conversation by sending in your comments, questions, and suggestions. And you can do that by going to Facebook and YouTube, search for NOA River State, click on the like button on Facebook, and don't forget to click on the subscribe button on YouTube. And you'll be streaming live with us the entire time of this program. I want to tell my guests, welcome again.
Thank you. Once again.
Welcome. Okay. And I also want to welcome our viewers that are streaming live with us right now. I'd like to start off with you, Chief. We all go to the markets, and besides, you are the chairman of the RUMUOWOJI Mile One market. You know, we all patronize this market. We use electricity. We use gas. So what is your opinion about this rising cost of goods and services in Nigeria today?
Thank you very much. I think one of the factors that have caused this rising of goods in the market is I should attribute it to road. Okay. For instance, before when we want to go to Aba, we spend about 1 hour 45 minutes to get to Aba and buy goods and come back. But now if you're going to Aba, you're spending the whole day. Just to go get to Aba and buy your things and come back, you're spending the whole day. So that is one of the factors that has been causing rise of cost price in the market.
Okay. Now, what about you, Mr. ABEKE?
Yes.
You also patronize the market.
Of course.
Despite the fact that you work with the Federal Competition, the Consumer Protection Commission.
Of course, we all feel it. And as a salary earner, I understand how my budget is affected every month. If I have to budget, let's say, a amount of money for particular consumables for this month, I'll be surprised that the following month, my wife will ask for more. So you find it difficult meeting up. And every day you go to the market and come back, there seems to be an addition to it. So it does affect every one of us. But now, taking a look at the causes of these increase, it's a whole lot of factors coming together. Like Chief said, one of them is roads, bad roads or bad infrastructure. Yes, that's one very big challenge we have, and it's a national issue. Because the government is doing its best to ensure that these roads are fixed, as well as the rail system and other means of transportation, so that goods are able to move from one place to the other on time and at low cost. So if this is achieved in the shortest period of time, we want to believe that automatically the ripple effect will equally affect the cost of materials or cost of products or items we have in the market. So hopefully, if that is taken care of, that will go a long way. I equally think that the security challenge in the country is one of the factors contributing to this. Just as Chief said, from here to Aba and come back, not just the road that's an issue, the checkpoints you will have to pass through to get to Aba and come back is an issue. I don't think that there's a diversion from the main Aba road. You need to pass through some other means. Why? Because of the security challenges in the country, and the security agencies are doing their best to ensure that the people who are moving from one place to the other are secured. Now, in the course of trying to get this done, you are causing other pains or other effects, other things are happening behind the scenes that cause bring difficulty in bringing products from one place to the other within the time period that they used to be. That has effect on the people who are bringing these products, and they, of course, want to then increase the price in order for them to meet up. Because by the time they go to market and come back one day, going back again, similar challenges or even more challenges, they will need to increase the prices to in order to meet up. So these are some of the factors that make prices of things to continue to increase. I equally think that the raw materials, price of raw materials too is increasing by the day. For example, a trader will say he will go and buy bread. The producers of bread will tell you that even they themselves can't budget or have a uniform budget in a month to produce bread, because as they keep on going to the market, these raw materials keep on increasing. So they too, at the end of the day, by the time they have the final product at an increased price, they too will need to increase the price in order to meet up going back to the market to get these raw materials.
Just to cut you in there, when you say the raw materials, that means, is it that they are importing these raw materials or it is being produced here?
Good. I was coming to that. There are some of these raw materials that are produced here. The ones that are produced here, they still need to move from one place to the other. Then the ones coming in, the dollar issue has effect on them. Because we have to import, and the unstable naira as against the dollar that keeps changing or keeps having effect, it equally has effect on the prices of these materials coming in. So when you spend so much to get products coming in, you equally want to meet up because you have to continue to be in business. So you have to increase the price in order to continue to be in business, and these are the causes of increase in prices.
We also know that we are in the pandemic era. And if we take our minds back 1 year ago, where we had lockdown because of the COVID and all that, do you think it has contributed in any way to the rising costs of goods and services?
Yes. It has continued because when during the period we were in lockdown, people did not go for any business. There was no notification and all the rest.
Yeah.
So for them to have started meeting up those 3 months, I mean 3 or 4 months that we were in lockdown, you know, it will definitely affect production of goods. You know, in fact, it's affecting it seriously.
Okay. And I'd like to take some comments right now because I think the whole place is buzzing with comments. So I would like to take some comments right now because we're going to go back to the who is to blame. Who is to blame in this matter? You know, who before I go to the comments, yes, who is to blame? Who should we blame?
Well, next time we'll blame the government.
Really?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
When I was growing up as a young man, there used to be something they call price control in the market.
Okay.
And today there is nothing like price control.
In your time, when you were growing up, how was it? How was the price control?
They go to market and if they fix a price for the goods and you increases it, they will pay you.
Okay.
You pay penalty. But this time it's no more like that.
Okay.
But the only place I saw something like that was in Lagos State.
Okay.
Where they have a particular cup they use in measuring foodstuffs.
Okay.
If you did not meet to the standard, they buy your goods there.
Okay.
So if government should come up with a policy that say we know maybe also maybe giving them a soft landing by maybe producing means of transportation that will go to rural areas and bring goods to the market.
Okay.
You see that the prices will not be much like that. It will not be that much. But in this case, the people who use their private cars and public transport, after all this time, they put all those things, all those money that they're spending into the goods they're bringing to the market.
Okay.
From there, the price will go high. People are not coming to buy. They come to the market is just empty, dried. People, the salary earners are also complaining. The salary is not enough for them. If they say there should be increment in their wages, before they should cry on that, they know that the price of things in the market is very, very high. So the government, I'm blaming the place to the government.
Is it just the government?
Not only the government, even those of us who are greedy.
Greedy traders?
Yes, there are. So there are some people when you buy things for 10,000 naira, you want to sell it for 40,000 naira. There are greedy ones like that.
Okay.
But when we begin to engage the services of the price control, we will fish them out and things will become normal.
Yeah. I recall that, before you go, okay, I want to comment on that.
Yes, I want to contribute. Before I go to there's one other issue I would like us to consider.
Okay.
The year is coming to an end, and in the minds of people generally, the December is getting close, and they need to have as much as possible in their pockets to take care of the December celebrations. Now, that contributes a long way in traders wanting to increase their prices. Just as Chief said, somebody will go to the market and buy a product of say 10,000 naira and he wants to sell, and he will increase the price so high that consumers will now begin to wonder how come about, are we not all in the same country?
Okay.
I'll give you a practical example. During the COVID, when we had the need for the face mask,
okay,
there was a time face mask was as low as 50 naira or 10 naira, but because of the need at that time, some people just skyrocketed prices, 5,000, 20,000. The pack was as high as 96,000 naira in the shops.
Yes.
Our office looked at it. I was like, no, this is unreasonably high. And we had to clamp down on the sellers and compel them to come down. When we do this, we are not just bringing pain to ourselves, we are bringing pain to our relations and all other countrymen.
Yeah.
So the greedy commercial system has a way of contributing in increasing prices.
Yeah.
So we want to be as reasonably as we can with respect to our profit, our gain. It should be over time.
Yeah.
We don't want to raise so much or raise the profit to a level that will affect us so much that we want to get it just in 1 day or 2 days. Business should have some time to grow, and if you need to be in business, let your profit continue, and it is the turnover over time that makes you be in business or become the kind of person that you want to be, and not just in 24 hours or in just 1 week.
Okay, so do you think that the policies of government, let's look at the policies of government, has it in any way affected? Because we were talking about goods now in the market, let's come back to electricity, gas. and other services that people, need for at least average living. These prices of these items.
Fuel, up to fuel.
Up to fuel. The prices of these items go up on a daily basis. It is also shocking that these noodles, I don't want to call the particular name of noodles, that on a weekly basis, sometimes twice in a week, the prices of these items go up. So what will you take that? Will you say that it is also transportation or the greedy aspects of the producers? Or is it the policy of government? What are we going to lay our hands on right now?
I should say the raw material, because these people, most of these materials are not found in Nigeria, and they import them. And then you see the cost of importation too. So all those things are one of the factors to this rising of cost in the market. If I import material that I used to import about 3-4 years ago for 7 million naira, now I'm importing it for about 20 million. Definitely you build in your income, the cost, you have to bring it in there. That is what I am seeing that is giving those noodles to go high on their own, because most of the materials are going to produce here in Nigeria.
Okay. What is your take on that?
I would like to start with the issue of electricity now. Generally, in the nation, the availability of power is low. Now, government is coming up with policies to ensure that majority of the country have power. Now, in order to do that, you need to invest in it. You need to pump in money. So, in getting this done, it requires money too. Now, initially, when policies like this get started, it can be very painful to meet up with, because the prices will be very demanding. They will be so high. But after some time, things will now stabilize. So I feel that to some extent we are feeling the pain. Like electricity. Right now, I think I saw it on the news that the prices of prepaid meters have even increased. Now, before now, no meters are not available. But in order to get the meters available, you need to spend money to get the meters available. And in order to meet up with the population, population is increasing, and these meters have to be available. So for now, maybe the prices are being added in order to make these meters available, but we will continue to complain because we are the ones at the receiving and good. But sometimes, maybe if we exercise calm, follow the policy, and then with time, prices will now become stabilized. That's my opinion. Though.
I hope Nigerians are hearing that.
So we want to be patient with government policies at times. While we feel the pain, we look forward to enduring or looking forward to a time when things will stabilize. So that is it. But in some other ways, like say raw materials, I feel to some extent it's not just government policies, it's individuals too. Individuals. Government is there, for example, in order to bring in products that are not made in Nigeria, you require a list called global listing. If those products are not in that global, on that list, you can't sell them here in Nigeria. Because products in here we need to have another number. Those most of them don't have it. If they are on the list, you can sell them. Do you know that right now, the cost of getting your global listing as an importer is so high right now? And you need to sell those products when you eventually get the global listing, get the products imported. So both government policy and individual, when these individuals want to sell, these importers want to sell, they put so many things into consideration and then inflate these prices. Then the receiving end is the consumer. So we want to be as reasonably as we can in order to make the game we want so that we can go back to the market, but at the same time we should be considerate. Let the consumer see that the way we come up with our prices are fair and reasonable.
Okay, we would like to go to Obiakpo local government area where we have Patience Joseph reporting from Oil Mill Market. She's at Oil Mill Market, where she has gone out to talk to traders and also buyers at Oil Mill Market. Over to you, Patience Joseph.
Thank you so much, Mrs. E. Halliday, for having me on the show. My name is Patience Joseph, and I'm reporting live from OMUNAKWE Market, Obiakpo. Our topic today is centered on rising price of goods and services, costs, effects, and solutions. And with me today is Mrs. Benedita, a foodstuff seller, and Mrs. Esther, a buyer. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon. What do you have to say about the rising cost of goods and services, costs, effects, and solutions?
I think it has to do with the exchange rates. Right now, dollar is 550. It has affected us so much in the sense that the transportation has increased from 1,700 to 1,900 naira. So it's affecting us because the drivers, they are complaining that the spare parts of the vehicle is very expensive. Also, we'll talk about the insecurity in the northern parts, in the middle belt, and in the eastern parts. The bandits or whatever they call themselves. So it has also affected the farmers not to go to farm. They are scared of going to the bush. They are scared of going to farm. So it has also affected the cost price of goods and services.
Do you think anything can be done about this, ma'am?
Yes, something can be done. Our government have to help us out. They know how to do it. It's just that they are not ready to do. But if they want to do it, they can do it. So they should help us.
Thank you very much, Mibu. Good afternoon, ma'am. As a commodity buyer, what do you have to say about the increase in price of goods and services?
Honestly, I'm disappointed in Nigeria as a whole. How can I be buying one basin of garri for 1,500? Now it is 1,000 naira. I'm literally eating from hand to mouth. No more saving. Because as it is now, I'm even using my whole salary to buy food. I don't know what else to do. But my government needs to try to reduce some certain things. Because it's getting too much. It is. Now I have like 4 children. How can I be working? How much am I even earning as usual? And then I'm not buying one basin of rice for 4,000 that will not even last for a week. I don't know what to do. This country is getting this issue is really getting out of hand because as it is, the masses are suffering. We are suffering. We are literally suffering. We the poor are crying. The government needs to do something. They need to help us.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Over to you, Mrs. E. Halliday.
On you.
Thank you, Patience Joseph. It's really heartbreaking to listen to that lady, bearing her mind on this particular issue. It's thought-provoking. A lot of citizens are out there, complaining about this skyrocketing prices of goods and services, and most people are complaining that even the salaries are not increasing, but you have a 100% increase in the prices of goods and services. I would like to take on some comments that are here. I have from Bekimbo Williams. Thank you for streaming live with us. He says goods and services will continue to skyrocket because the authorities concerned are not concerned about the welfare of the citizens. Do you agree to that? You are a Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. Are you really concerned about the welfare of the citizens, your commission, and then go on to the government? Do you think the government is concerned about the welfare of the citizens? Because you hear that heartbreaking, story from this lady out there.
Anyone who has contested election is someone who has decided to serve, and to serve his people to the best of his knowledge and ability. So those in government, it's difficult to say they are not concerned. The situation is hitting them hard as much as it's hitting the consumers or the Nigerians in general hard, because if they are in government, they equally have family members. They are there because we buy from the same market. So that things are not at the situation in which we want right now doesn't mean conclusively that government is not doing anything or they are insensitive. So the steps are being taken. Like I'll tell you from my office what we are doing. When people come together as companies or as individuals to do business, there are certain products that are regulated, and in order to ensure that the products are regulated, we take our time to monitor. First of all, we try to monitor and ensure that the quality of the product in the market is what should be, so that when consumers pay money for these products, they get value for their money. So that's very important. Now, in order to achieve this, there are so much that we do. Sometimes we go on surveillance and enforcement. Surveillance will go into the market in a manner that you won't even know that they are there. All we are doing is to gather information on a particular thing. If there is wrongdoing detected, we clamp on them to ensure that the right things are done.
Have you ever clamped on anyone?
Oh my goodness, we do that every day. As I'm talking to you right now, our colleagues are out there.
In the market?
Yes. If you go to Crossover, which is part of our zone, the association master bakers, those who make bread, they've come up with the policy that so master bakers say ATWA, Association of Table Water Producers. They come up with a policy that a bag of table water, this one we call pure water, yes, is 200 naira. If you say it should be 200 naira, what we do as an organization is to ensure that, first of all, how you come about that price and the value of the product you're giving should not be unreasonably different. So we check out your good manufacturing processes. How you come about table water. So right now, as I'm talking to you now, a lot of table water factories are even shut down. Why? Because you can't have just a room where you put one or two things. You have a borehole, and just from the borehole you put water into a sachet and you take to the market to sell. You're harming consumers. You're harming Nigerians. So we need to check that the quality of the product going to the market is top notch, and what people pay for, they get value for their money. So until you are ready for the business, then take your time to meet up with the standard. So we regulate to ensure that value for money is gotten. Now, when we now ensure that the processes are okay, we'll now try to see the difference in what you take to come about that product and the price that you're giving. Is the difference that much? If it's that much, we'll tell you, please come down. When we are doing this, we are protecting the consumers. At the same time, we want these people to be in business. Competition is equally encouraged. We don't shut down other people just because we want a particular group of persons to control the market, dictate the price for consumers. No. We ensure that people, as many people as possible want to be in the market, should be in the market, but quality is what we demand. Then when you get the quality, we'll now consider the price as to the processes that you take to get that quality product, and see that the difference as to what consumers will get is not that painful. So these are a lot of things that we do.
I'd like to come to you, Chief. You know, the fact that they are an agency of government, but as a union in the markets, you know, I believe that because of this rising prices of these food items in the market, you know, people go on to produce substandard goods. We have people, we've seen where people even produce Amstel malt in their houses and they take it out to the market. What has your union done to check this? And maybe when they produce this substandard product, they sell it at a cheaper price. Do you understand? So I believe that your union should play a role in checking these prices out there. Or is it a free for all affair? If I go to Aba market, I can decide buy something for 400 naira. I can decide to sell it for 1,000 naira. It's my business. Or is there any way your union checkmates these people?
Thank you very much. Like in RUMUOWOJI market, my world, we have task force. Headed by Chooks MNK. Their job is to make sure that no substandard goods enters into our market. And apart from that, we understand that people do manufacture, even these alcohol drinks.
Yes.
Those who are selling in the market, we told them that if we catch anybody, not even handing you over to the police, your shop will be sealed.
Okay.
So the level we are taking in our market is well organized, and I don't think that with the level, the caliber of persons I put in the committee will find anything fishy in that place. Okay. Any substandard good will ban them, and they will not know that you are not going for it, you are going to destroy it. Okay. We will not give it to anybody. As soon as your goods are invited because of maybe substandard or without NAFDAC approve herself. Yeah. You know, some things are time to go to check. These are cosmetics. Okay. Even their drugs, we check them. Yeah. The one that does not have NAFDAC approval, we pack them. Okay. Even that this time this drug law came, we gave them free hand to go and check. They went around the market where they are selling all those drugs. They don't see anything, but we'll be checking on our own.
Okay. Okay, I'm glad to hear that you have committees in place that are handling things like that. So I'm going to come back, but we'd like to take on our community orientation and mobilization officer from Port Harcourt City local government area, Mr. Samson ORLU, who is at my 3 ultra-modern market right now, reporting from my 3 ultra-modern markets, where he has gone out there to talk with sellers and buyers in the market.
Thank you for having me this day, Mrs. Esanjimi Richard Halliday. My name is ORLU Samson, and I'm coming from the Office of the National Orientation Agency. At the same time, the Community Orientation and Mobilization Officer, Port Harcourt City Local Government. I am reporting live from my 3 ultra-modern market, WOBO community. Now my report is centered on the rising cost of goods and services in Nigeria. With me here are Mrs. Okorafo, the buyer, and then Mr. Chima, the seller. Mr. Chima, please, you're welcome. What are your challenges as regards to rising cost of goods and services in Nigeria? The effect, the causes, and at the same time, solution to it. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Chima. I am the owner of this shop. I can tell you that the cost of things now is too high compared to what we have been seeing before. Even before the coronavirus, things were somehow normal. But we don't know what is the cause of why things is rising so high. So I don't know what the federal government could have tell us what is the problem. But for me as a businessman, I don't know the problem. I cannot tell you that look at the problem of what things is going high every day. In the space of 2 weeks time, you see another increment. In the space of more 2 weeks time, you see another increment. Like this oil now, this is golden penny oil. This is 2.75 liter. As of last month, we are selling this oil in the market here 2,900. But this oil now is 3,700, just in a space of 2 weeks time. So we don't know what is the problem. So I cannot tell you what is the problem, the solution. But I will ask the federal government to look for the solution because I'm not the one to solve the problem.
Thank you, Mr. Chima. Yeah, Mrs. Okorafo. Mrs. Okorafo, the buyer. Mrs. Okorafo, please, what are your challenges as a result of rising cost of goods and services, the effect, the causes, and the solution? Thank you.
As it is, I came to the market since morning. I've been roaming around. You price here, they will tell you outrageous prices. You say, okay, let me check another shop. It's even worse. As it is, you even come into the market with 50,000, you will not even buy anything up to 1 waterproof in this market. Every day things keep increasing. You come today, you buy something of 5 naira, you buy it 10 naira. you come tomorrow, you see they'll add another amount of money on top. So I just don't know. And now it hasn't gotten to December yet, and it's like this. You know that during the festive period, things increase. So now that we have not even gotten to December, it's like this. It's only God that will help us. The solution, federal government should just help us, because before it turns to something else, I just put people that are not even working, because I don't know how they are faring now. Things are just so high for us.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Okerafo, and also thank you, Mr. Chima. And then over to you, Mrs. Esanjima Richard Halliday, as the presenter of NOA Dialogue, River State. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Samson ORLU, reporting live from Mile 3 Ultramodern Market, Port Harcourt City. So we hear these comments. You know, when you hear these comments, it breaks the heart of the people. You understand? It breaks. I'm going to take so many comments are coming in here. I have from Senibo Age. He says 3 major factors that are responsible for rising cost of goods and services are the exchange rate, insecurity, and high cost of transportation. Thank you, Mr. Abie Senibo. Peter Ikabe said the National Assembly should probe the rising cost of food, goods, and services in Nigeria. I'm aware, and a committee has been set up to look into this issue by the National Assembly. A committee has been set up to look into this issue of the rising cost of goods and services in Nigeria. I also have from Blessing Jumbo. He said there should be price regulatory authorities checkmating the market. Our guest here, you know, Mr. ABEKE has said that his organization, they are out there going into the market trying to check substandard goods, and also do you really check on the prices? Do you check the prices of goods in the market or the quality of the goods?
We do. There's a department called the KRS.
Okay.
What they do is to ensure that the statistics department. Okay. What they do is to collate or gather information. Okay. Periodically, they go out to the markets, men and women, to interview them. Okay. And to gather the prices of these goods periodically. And monthly, they put them into a report and forward to our head office. Okay. So that these prices are collated and seen that over a period of time, this amount of product has gone from this amount to a particular amount. Yeah. Now they not send back information as to investigating why.
But nothing is done. Even when the reports are sent, what happens?
Sometimes we expect that within a month, something should just change.
Yeah, because the people are crying.
Yeah, they're feeling the pain.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that the government is not doing anything. It just takes some time to put, because these reports, after you submit, if you get from one table to the other to ensure that the process is done, then when eventually what they're supposed to do is done, you see that gradually you will now begin to feel the effect. Yeah. We do know that December is coming, and eventually the prices of things will even increase much more than we are seeing now. Just as the lady in the report said. Now, the organization is equally on the watch out, on the lookout to ensure that people don't just indiscriminately increase prices.
Yeah, that's the issue. Yeah.
The truth is, today, something could be 10 naira. Tomorrow you go to the same market and you find out that it has increased from 10 naira to 20 naira, and you just keep wondering what has changed between yesterday and today. So we individually, we should begin to ask ourselves, are we treating ourselves the way we should? Instead of pointing fingers at the government all the time. As a trader, am I being fair? Or is it just because I want to be in business and make money over now? Maybe because I see one person on social media, he has this, he has that, and then I now want to equally get to the point of that person, not knowing that it took time for that person to get to the point he is. So we need to be reasonable and ask ourselves, this thing we are doing to ourselves, is it right? So while the government is struggling to do its own part, and of course I must tell you the fact, government is not relenting. The government is not claiming that they can't do anything or it's not even their responsibility. It is their responsibility and they acknowledge that. And they will continue to do everything to ensure that things improve. This is a country that is quite big, and policy, when policy comes to effect, the ripple effect before it will get to the final consumer, it actually takes some time. But I believe that government is doing something.
Yeah, I read a report in Delta State during the COVID period where traders were increasing the prices of their items, indiscriminately, and there was a clampdown on traders, and suddenly prices came down. Prices that they were like maybe 1,000 naira before went to like 5,000 naira because the government took it upon themselves to go into the markets to check this. Prices dropped. There was a drastic drop in the prices, which goes on to say that these traders were exploiting the buyers in the market. What do you have to say about that? Let me just not just the traders, even the transporters are exploiting people.
Yes, like in our markets, actually, you will notice that everybody is good.
Okay.
Then you are going to find some bad ones, some bad eggs in the market too. But they are it is very rare in our market. Not that people will not increase, but we are watching them. Like as I told you, we have task force. Like yesterday, I went to buy Gabe. But the fact that they saw that his chairman that came to buy Gabe, they gave me very good landing spot. Actually, what they gave me is what they are selling to the one said yes. But the price they gave me and what my wife told me she used to buy was not the same. It was like a PR.
Yes.
So I asked why. Is it how you were selling to them? She said yes. So I've been watching them. And again, the transporters too. When maybe there is fuel, you say there is no fuel, and spare part is high because of the EcoBoo crisis, that there is no more EcoBoo where they buy spare part. They go to Aba now. They import their parts from Aba, all those stuff. They increase their prices and all the rest. People that brings goods from a chain. Initially, before they pay about 1,000 naira from a chain to Port Harcourt, and then they pay close to 3,000 naira bringing goods from a chain to Port Harcourt. So you see those kind of things that they don't have to add it into the goods they are coming with. If you buy, maybe if I was supposed to pay 1,000 naira, I paid 3,000 naira. The other 2,000 naira will feed it into the market again to sell.
Okay.
That is one of the causes of inflation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have not talked about the farmers.
Yeah.
We have not talked about the farming aspect of this whole matter right now. What is happening? Because, for example, the Gary, do we import Gary?
The insecurity is affecting
okay. And what about insecurity? Maybe the farmers can no longer go to farm the way they should go to farm.
Insecurity and fertilizer is not there.
Okay.
Most of these farmers they rely on fertilizer.
Yeah.
And this is where the federal government have to come in. I don't know how long, which time they brought fertilizer. Even if they bring, I think they are doing it on man.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that interventions of government. And let us also look at the middlemen.
Yeah.
The middlemen, in the process, for example, somebody coming from a chain, a farmer coming wanting to come bring his produce from a chain to my one market to sell. There are middlemen.
Yes. Including that insecurity and bad roads.
Okay.
Cause them or make them to spend more on the road. They spend more time on the road. They spend more money as transportation to get there. Now, by the time you eventually get to your shop, you will now calculate all of these expenses and then put in your product so that you can get back your price and your gain, so that you can go back to the market again. Now, how they determine the price they will sell the market is what sometimes baffles us. Because if you buy, maybe cumulatively, you spend like 50,000 naira to go to the market and to come back, and then you increase the price, and by the time you're going back, you see like 200,000 naira.
Wow.
You'll be happy, but don't you ask yourself, does my conscience really allow me to do this? So these middlemen need to be checked.
Yeah.
So if the people in the market there now are now selling to the consumers, the consumers are now buying. Sometimes we should equally have the right to insist that this thing it's not fair. Sometimes you should even report. There are agencies who have the right to checkmate these things. Now, when you go to the market and you feel this thing and keep quiet, you say, "Well, everything I will do." If I don't love myself, no, you are now doing that apathy. Equally continues to cause these people to increase because they know nobody can do anything.
About
people are not the buyer, the consumers are not complaining. Even if they talk up, they will still buy. So I will increase the price. So we need to be able to remove this apathetic spirit and then rely on the agencies of government to equally handle situations. So report. It's not when you buy something. Some people buy something, the thing doesn't work. They say, if I spend this time now to call and tell them to come, they will not even attend. Have you reported? Report first, and then we'll try to see the consequence. So we should be able to speak out.
And again, too, the taxation that they normally tax them to. You see, like what they tax us most times in the market. The government will come and give us one tax. State government will come and give another tax. All these things are not there before, but even if they're there, but they won't tax much as it is now. Like we will pay sanitation to the state government, pay sanitation to the local government, and we'll still complete our refuse
by yourself.
And we pay sanitation fee. You will come now, maybe you bring a truck that brings schools to the market. They will charge for flooding. The government, the local government will come and charge for flooding. Maybe that when they charge for flooding again, maybe as the truck is going out, you pay ticket again to go out from the premises. All these are double taxation. And it affects the traders too much.
Because after paying that money, they want to add it to their
they add. Sometimes they will add.
Okay, we would like to go to our further west local government area where we have Madis Douglas standing by at the popular Mbiama market. Madis Douglas, please.
Having me on this live touching program, NOA Rivers Dialogue. Hello viewers, this is Madis Douglas, the Community Orientation and Mobilization Officer, National Orientation Agency, Ahoda West Local Government Area. I am reporting live from the famous Mbiama Market, the commercial nerve center of Ahoda West Local Government Area. We are taking a look at the rising cost of goods and services in the market. Today I have with me a buyer in the market, Mr. Goodluck, who is going to tell us the effects of this ugly situation. Mr. Goodluck.
One of the reasons why goods are very costly now is because of the early harvesting of crops. When we heard that the flood is coming up and we rushed to harvest our crops when they are not even yet matured, we did that so that we can be able to get them. Now, the reason why it's cost because goods are now scarce. Gari and so many things, yams, plantain, they are not scarce because we early harvested them. Who that come to buy them, we don't have time to see these things to buy them. So please, we are begging the government to come and aid us. But right now, we are lack of so many things now. We can't buy because there is nothing. All these things are now, it's not in the market again. So we need the government aid now to come and assist us. Thank you.
Okay, I also have with me a trader in the market, Mrs. Joy, who is going to give us our own version of the story. Mrs. Joy, what do you think are the reasons for this rise in prices of goods and services in the market?
Before, when would they buy food? Now everything now don't cost for market. Before, when would they buy rice? For custard of rice before, would they buy custard of rice 700? But now custard of rice now don't go 2,500 naira. We know they feel they buy something for market. Even beans, where would they buy? Beans, where would they buy 600 naira? Beans now 2,600 naira. We know they feel they buy anything for market. Gari, where would they buy 350 for custard? Gari now 1,000 naira naira for custard. We no dey fit dey buy garri again. Even tomatoes and fresh pepper wey we dey buy. So everything dey cost now for the market. If you carry 5,000 naira go market go buy something, you no go fit use am take buy anything. Just only one custard of rice 2,500. So we no dey fit dey buy anything. Our money too high on am. Things wey we dey buy for the market e too high. So see our fish for market, even things now e don too high. We no dey fit dey buy. Even the farmers sef to buy chemical to take do farm work now e don high. Chemical wey dey buy 1 tray now na 5,000 naira now. So we wan make government help us.
Over to you, presenter.
Thank you, Mr. Miles Douglas, reporting from another West Local Government area from the popular Mbiama market. I'd like to take some comments. I have from Senegal Abie. He said that Nigerians should produce what they eat and eat what they produce, because agrarian paradox is one of the factors responsible for high cost of goods and services. We are importing a lot. You know, people are importing almost everything into the country. NIKIOMARI says, let us start patronizing homemade products, because the cost of the currency is very high and the roads are too bad. But if we start patronizing made in Nigerian products, I think things will get better. Thank you, Grace Nkejika. We have from Loretta Ahiopeme. She says, our system of looking out for oneself, bribery, is part of the reason some exporters are afraid, because without it, the officers will, but so many hurdles for exporters. Thank you. She also said there are so many obstacles bedeviling Nigerian exporters, and the export officers not make it easy. So we have a lot of bottlenecks. That's why I said the middlemen. You know, there's so many things along the way. It says the ease of doing business must not be lip service. You mentioned, you know, the ease of doing business, where you have to have double taxations. You know, we get reports from the local government areas, because we have offices in each of the local government areas. We have our community orientation mobilization officers who from time to time go to these markets and we get reports of double taxation. Like you have said, Mr. Chairman, the local government is taxing, the state government is taxing, I don't know which other, there are different groups of people taxing these same customers. Somebody that goes to sell a tray of groundnut in the market has to pay these taxes. And how do you expect that person to sell? Because the person has gone to the market to make profit. Yeah. You know? So I'd like to take more comments. I know we have a lot here. I have from the White Brigade Command, Canada Local Government, where it says government should employ a contractional monetary policy to fight inflation by reducing the money supply within an economy via decreased bond prices and increased interest rate. Emmanuel Womack says the causes for these are too numerous to mention, but it's easy to increase the price of goods and services than to reduce them, and its effects are drastic because Nigerians adapt and manage situations very quickly, and that tends to make things difficult and complex. But in all, the solutions to such a complex and unimaginable issue is also complex, and as such, the government, relevant agencies, and people need to come together to discuss and find out various angles and solution modes to tackle it. Yeah, I like that. They say Nigerians adapt easily. Like you mentioned, you know, instead of going to complain, you know, recently I bought something from a particular, I don't want to mention the name of the shop, and immediately I bought a snack to eat on the road, and immediately I put it in my mouth. I don't think that it was bad. I tried the second one, it was bad, and I was rushing to somewhere. But I changed my mind. I turned and I went back to the shop. And immediately I entered, I told the lady, I said, what you sold to me is bad. And immediately she said, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm going to change it for you. And I made sure she exchanged it for me. Nigerians need to rise up and speak.
Yes, and what that means, if you can find two already there,
yeah,
put for sale, it's possible there are more.
Yes.
Now, it's probably possible there are more people who have bought those products and eating without complaining.
Yes.
They've suffered because they paid monies and let me just leave it now, and they've gone. Yeah. Now, since you complain, to be cautious.
Yeah.
But if you don't complain, they will continue to do that. So we want to let us be open. Let us insist on the rights that we have. So that if we spend so much to get little, let us ensure that the much we spend for that little, let us get value for money. That's an aspect of it.
Yeah.
So don't be apathetic.
And it's really disheartening that it's most of these staple foods, tomatoes, beans, rice, garri, that the poor man out there needs to stay alive. You know, and that is really burning hard on the people. The people are groaning. You know,
the situation is really.
Yeah, but we're going to discuss that. Let me take more comments. Okay. I'm from Obaro Johnson. He says insecurity, lack of clearly defined and strategically implemented economic roadmap, and corruption has dampened investor confidence and left the economy at the mercy of exploiters and profiteers. A rise in the cost of goods and services with a decline in purchasing power and natural symptoms in an ailing economy. Thank you, Mr. Obaro. Now, I was asking somebody this morning, I said, how has been the patronage in your shop? He says things, customers, you can see, madam, customers are not coming anymore. You know, we have just few customers on a daily basis because one, the goods are not there, and the prices is something to talk about, something else to talk about. Okay, I have from Mr. Adus Douglas. He says, Adus Glad, excuse me. He says, when the young men, women, and married women who are supposed to engage in farming to boost agricultural production have diverted their attention to illegal bunkering for quick material wealth, market forces of demand and supply will come to play. What do you have to say to that? The people that should farm in our villages, they don't want to go to the farm. No, bunkering is more profitable now. Yeah.
So that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
The commercial system we operate now, it's naturally tricky.
Yeah, yes.
We want to encourage people to be in the farms. But when you consider the procedure of getting a product, planting, passing through that season when you harvest and take to the market, it takes some time.
Yeah.
Young men and women are always with their mobile phones online, Facebook, Instagram, and online you see people with their brandishing new phones, new cars, new houses, and you feel that it will take too long for you to farm and get products to sell before you're able to get to that level. Yeah. So you think of it faster means. Yeah. So that incites in us greed. Yeah. So people do illegal things together, which is very, very discouraging. Now, for even those few who are doing legitimate business or businesses, like those who are even fishing, let's take into consideration those even in our villages and communities. Yes. They go to the river, get fish, and come. Do you equally know that the commercial system, the oil industry has equally cost fish in the river to have reduced. People don't get as much fish as they used to. Yes.
Of our waters. Okay.
If I call my mom now and tell her to send fish, sometimes she will tell me there's no fish. I imagine how my mom will tell me no fish. It doesn't used to be like that. When we're much younger, you can go to school and come back. If you're hungry, just go to the river. And from the riverine area. You go to the river, it will take you 10 minutes. You get fish that you'll be able to come back, roast, to carry and eat. You'll be fine. But these days, it takes a lot of effort to get this fish. Now, when you eventually get this fish, please believe me, even from the local communities, the price of fish now is high. Yeah. Because the development has moved from the city to the communities. So they equally want to get what they're using here. So you'll be surprised that the fish you buy here, the price in the village will not be much different.
Yes, exactly. You're correct.
The whole system needs a serious rejigging. We need to come back and sit down and discuss this issue so that we can implement and ensure that we begin to have a stable.
Okay, let me take some more comments very fast. I'm from Boma Amadi. She says, I think corruption and insecurity plays major roles in the rising price of goods and services. The government should look into this factor. I'm from Cynthia. She's also saying insecurity and the rate of forex is also a cause. And Tiedong Echo, thank you for streaming live with us. He said the welfare of citizens should be a priority to government of all tiers. Chinwe Opara says the incessant increase in the price of goods and services by the traders in Port Harcourt is a sheer wickedness and man's inhumanity to man. The most common thing, which is food and other basic things, is what we are grappling with at this time and age. What a shame. Thank you, Mr. Chinwe Opara. I have from Ngozi Obike. She says government policies are not favorable to the citizens that voted them into power. The prices of goods and services is very high. Government should do the needful to reduce the suffering of the people. We have said government should do the needful. This is the feedback channel. The government right there, they are streaming live with us and watching this very program. They are hearing the concerns of the people. But we have also stated here that we also, as traders in the market, need to have that feeling for the people, rather than exploiting consumers out there. I have from Esther Isijola. He said farming should be encouraged at all levels. He said the number one problem is security. Irene says the number one problem is security in Nigeria. Security is number one problem. I like to ask now, what is the solution? What is the solution? But before we go on to that, I have also standing by from the popular Mile 1 Market, right? Mile 1 Market in Port Harcourt, your market. I have Mr. Samson ORLU, he's the Community Orientation and Mobilization Officer, NOA, Port Harcourt City Local Government area. He's right now at Mile 1 Market, Port Harcourt, where he's talking to the buyers and the sellers. Mr. Samson ORLU, please.
Mrs. Esanjime Richard Halliday. My name is ORLU Samson, and I'm calling from the Office of the National Orientation Agency, Rivers State, and as well as the Como, Port Harcourt City Local Government. I am reporting live from my one market, RUMUOWOJI town in Port Harcourt City Local Government. My report is on rising cost of goods and services in Nigeria, the effect, the causes, as well as the solution. With me here are Mr. Ezeben and Mr. Chukudi. Ezeben as the buyer, while Mr. Chukudi as the seller. Ezeben, you're welcome. Yes. What are your challenges in the rising cost of items in the market?
Well, thank you, Mr. Reporter. One thing I find out in Nigeria currently is that things getting higher day by day. And with my little understanding, I came to understand that due to the bad economy of this country and also the bad leadership of the country that influence the prices of the goods, that causes that every day things keep on getting higher. That's the reason why if the federal government should regulate the importers and the others to go here.
Now, Chukudi, Mr. Chukudi as a seller, you're welcome. Mr. Chukudi, please, what are your challenges again as regards to the rising cost of goods and services in Nigeria, the effect, the causes, and the solution?
To my own understanding, just based on the economy of this country, I would like federal government to do something as to bring down the prices of the market to help the masses in order for you to move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chukudi. You're welcome, and then good to have you people. And then now, over to you, Mrs. Esanjime Richard Halliday, the presenter of NOA Dialogue. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. ORLU Samson, the Como, Port Harcourt City Local Government Area, NOA office. Now, what is the solution? What is the solution to this? I have from Mr. Glad Adus. He says the solutions. 1. Government should give priority attention to agriculture and encourage farmers by providing farming implements and cash. 2. Every landlord and landlady should provide a space during construction of residential houses where crops can be planted for family consumption to reduce demand and to occupy the whole land for building. I like that point. 3. Government should improve our roads and reduce price of fuel so that transportation of agricultural produce from rural to urban cities would be reduced. What do you have to say to that?
Well, to me, I think one of the things we should look into is insecurity.
Okay.
If the government should handle the situation of insecurity very well, where people can go to farm and come back alive.
Yeah.
Because at times you just see that people go to farm, they meet herdsmen and they fight and all those clashes. Yeah. If the insecurity is being handled, at least people will go to farm. And again, let there be a policy that every family should have a farm.
Yeah, that's like what he said. Yeah.
Yes, every family should have a farm. No matter whether you're a Petago, go and buy land as a chain. A chain, the land there is not too expensive. Okay. You can get land of 300,000 naira. Okay. Use it for farm. By the time you are farming on cassava, maybe you are farming on pineapple. If you need pineapple, we'll make exchange.
Okay.
Now because in the market, the prices will come down. Okay. These are one of the factors I think we can look into. How much help us?
Yeah, the issue of farming. Government encourages even civil servants.
So go to say yes.
Government is working. So the issue I think should be maybe we need to reorientate ourselves.
Okay.
We must understand that we have a challenge in our hands. Every one of us.
Yes.
Government should do its own part to ensure that the policies that are set out are implemented. Except of course sometimes a government starts a policy, another government comes in and jettisons that policy. Tries to come up with another fresh one, then time is going. Before you start to implement that, your time is going out, another government comes. So it also causes this discontinuity, and that brings another problem. Then for us as citizens, we know these challenges and we are the ones that are feeling the things. We want to maybe, just as suggested, we want to do as much as we can to ensure that we are agri-oriented. We need to just look for a particular aspect of agriculture and then engage yourself in. If you are into fishing or farming and doing your work, you know that when it's harvest time, if you enjoy the harvest time, you will have, of course, extra to give and spend less out there. The salary you're earning, you have extra to give for yourself instead of buying everything with the salary. It will always be enough. It's never enough. So if we try as much as possible to improve ourselves in this farming area, any aspect of it all, it will, of course, help to reduce this issue of always going to the market. I was so surprised that my one market, busy my one market is kind of that report that we saw. It goes to show that truly people are feeling the effect. There is no money in the hands of people to spend. The little you have, you are being cautious as to what you spend, when to spend, and how to spend it. So you don't need to go to the market, and the effect of it too is high. Marriages are having problems. Education, a lot of out of school because people don't have money, they can't pay school fees, they send their children back home, they are feeling the effect. Every one of us. I try to pen down some of the effects of this cost of living, malnutrition, problems in the family, out of school children, unemployment, because crime, good, it's here. If you have a business and because of increase of price you can't go back to sustain your business, you will lose your job. The employment you have, you will lose it. But when you're home, you begin to think of illegal things to do, and before you know it, you're engaged in crime and then you're arrested. So a lot of effects, and when we have all this, we begin to think and see if we can come up with better solutions, and only then can we have better living for ourselves.
I think also providing the right environment for businesses to thrive. Because apart from people, there have been complaints of people who own shops in River State.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have somebody coming from the local government. Revenue people are coming. And it's not that they demand for little sums of money. They will tell you to pay 10,000 naira. What does that woman that has that small shop that is selling rolls of milk and Milo, where will she have 10,000 to pay? And not just that, you have the local government coming, you have the health people coming, and all at the end of the day, you find out that when she has parted with that kind of money, what do you expect?
Yeah, and maybe sometimes the manner in which we enforce laws here somehow draconian. You have a tax system or a tax force to implement a particular policy, and this tax force will go destroying things, injure people. You know, it doesn't tell well of the government. If I want to engage in a business to get a shop, and I have it at the back of my mind that one day some people under the guise of representatives of the local government will just come into my shop like that and then pack everything and go, it will discourage me. So I will not want to go into business. And then, but I'll suffer if I don't get business because there are no jobs out there to do. Some time ago, we learned that the previous government came up with a unified tax system, especially for these transporters. But they keep complaining that it's not being implemented. So maybe sometimes the government will need to be really focused on what they want to do. If a policy comes into place, the implementation too should be enforced and in a manner that is civil enough for those who want to go into the business to engage in the business and be comfortable with doing the business. Because if I'm afraid that someday people will come and harass me sincerely, I will not go into the business. And that will encourage crime.
And government there have also been interventions from governments in this aspect, even in agriculture.
Yes, even in agriculture.
The government has tried to intervene. Like for example, the government enterprise and the empowerment program, where you have the trader money, you have the market money, and you have the farmer money.
Yes, for one thing, people too are having a challenge of trust. The trust system, government needs to build confidence in themselves, in the policies that they come up with. Some people feel that even if they apply for these monies,
they don't even bother to register. Because the Jeep program, the Jeep registration has been on. And I will find out we have complaints from the local government areas that people are nonchalant about it.
You know? Because they suspect that it's a corrupt policy ammunition. The process of it, they don't trust. Even if they see people being advertised that these are beneficiaries of the policies, they will keep telling you it's not true. And so they are apathetic about it. So government also needs to be genuine or to be convincing in these policies and in the implementation of these policies.
So I'll come back to you, Chief. What are parting words that you can tell the people right now? The people out there that are groaning. What encouraging words can you give to them as our time is up?
What I have to say is that we should at least have patience with the government. Things are going to definitely come to normal. The government in fact, they are trying. But I think government is not doing anything that the only problem I think, before we give, I say, if government has a policy where they want to give loan to farmers, they should make sure they give it directly to the farmers, not giving to their brothers. Because you see, by the time they say they want to give out something to people, before they get to the real owners, the real people that want to benefit from it, already their friends and brothers have taken all the good side of the loan. Only very few farmers will get this loan. So all those things are one of the policies that I think the government should look into very well. And then let us have all that you should have patience. So know that we'll get to where we're going.
And I'm sure one or two traders are streaming live with us, or even more right now. I would have talked about the selfishness on the part of the humans, selfishness on the part of the traders, even the transporters, exploitation. What would you say to them?
On the traders, when we're going to have our last meeting for the year, I will also sensitize them in what we'll discuss here. Because we wouldn't be problem to ourselves too. If peradventure we're not treating our customers very well, they will not come to buy.
Exactly.
So, and like if you watch in that program where Olo was saying in my own market there, people are not coming. The market is empty.
Yeah.
Popular RUMUOWOJI my own market.
Yeah.
If you go there, you can even count people in the line. Now, if you enter that market, you can count people because there is no money. People are not, prices are very, very high.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. We're glad to have you here this morning. And I want to give a parting word to people out there.
The situation is pathetic.
Yeah.
We are all feeling the pains. On the side of the government, I want to say that government, just as Chief said, government is coming up with policies to ensure that this situation is calm. We need to be more patient and want to equally increase our trust in the system. Then on our part, producers, middlemen, we want to ensure that one, we give out only quality products to the market with competitive prices that come as a result of transparent means. We do not want to be greedy. We will get there if we continue to maintain an honest policy in the business practice that we engage in. Eventually, you'll be blessed, and of course, you'll be fine. But when we think that we can enrich ourselves by cheating consumers, eventually maybe your business may not grow, but then you'll be inflicting pain too on people who are out there. You never even can tell if it's a relation of yours that will be feeling the effect of the bad business practices they are doing. So we all want to be reasonable, we want to be considerate, but we don't want to be greedy. Then trust in the government policies that with time we begin to feel the positive effects.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. ABEKE, and thank you, Chief Godspower, for being our guest in the studio this morning. And I want to thank all those that are just streamed live with us this morning. This issue can be discussed over and over again. Like you have heard the advice of Chief Godspower and Mr. ABEKE. I think the onus is on each and every one of us as citizens of this country, to know your right as a citizen and protect that right while waiting patiently on the government, because things are already on course and it will get to trickle down, to the least person here. Things are going to change. So let's be hopeful, let's be patriotic, and let's keep the flag flying. My name again is Sanjumi Richard Hallelujah. And you can catch up on our previous episodes by going to Facebook or YouTube. Remember to click on the subscribe button. This is a program of the National Orientation Agency, Rivers State, Nigeria.
While it is good to identify with our diverse ethnic groups, in national matters, ethnicity leads to widespread exploitation and violence.
It can also lead us to national crises of corruption, poverty, and underdevelopment.
You have a role to play because you are Nigeria, and Nigeria is you.
What must we do?
We must understand, promote, and preserve those values that ensure harmony and respect for one another.